So today what we're going to talk about is the subjunctive. And as we start the subjunctive today, this is what we're going to cover for the rest of the year.
What?
Okay? So this is the last verb tense that you guys are going to learn this year, and it is going to take an entire year to learn all of it. You know, you're going to learn how to form it, but the most important thing is learning the rules behind it. And in Espanol, we call it el subjuntivo. El subjuntivo. Okay? Now, the subjunctive does exist in English. We do have it in English, but we don't use it to the extent that we use it in Spanish. Because in Spanish we used it constantly. Whereas I'm going to show you some examples how we would use it a little bit differently in English, okay? Okay. All right, so to form the subjunctive, it's very, very simple. The first step is you put the verb in the yo form, but I want to be specific. You're going to put it in the yo form of the present tense. Does this sound familiar to anything we've done before?
Yeah.
What does it sound like? It's the first step of the usted command, right? The usted command or the negative to command, right? So step 2 to form the subjunctive is that you're going to, I'm sure you can guess it, drop the O. But what's going to be a little bit different about the subjunctive than it was about the command is when you're giving a command, there's just one form, right? Because I'm giving it to somebody, so it's a singular form. Well, the subjunctive is all forms. The subjunctive is, it's just like, you know how in the present tense we have I, you, he, she, we, they. In the preterite tense we have I, you, he, she, we, they. In the imperfect, same thing. Well, the subjunctive is the same way. And so the third step now is to actually give you the endings. So if it is an AR verb, the subjunctive endings are going to be, and you can probably kind of see the board already, y, es, hemos, okay? So basically, it's switching endings. We're used to it being an AR verb being o, as, a, amos, an. Well, now it's a, the yo form and the he, she form are always going to be the same in the subjunctive, but it's taking on the ER verb endings. So with that in mind, what do we think are going to be the verb endings for an ER verb and an IR verb? What are they going to be? It's not going to be an O. The O is gone. It's going to be a, as, a, amos, and an. Good. All right. All right. So the very first step as we go back to forming the subjunctive was to put the verb in the yo form in the present tense. Now, why would that be significant? Can you think of any verb where that really makes a difference?
Oh, like with the tener.
Yeah, any go verbs. Tango, pongo, hago, vengo. Can you think of any other verbs where that's important?
Saber.
Any irregular yos, right? And also any stem changes.
Yeah.
That's when it really becomes apparent. You know, with a verb like beber or a verb like comer, it doesn't matter. But in those verbs that are irregular in the yo forms especially, that's where it becomes obvious. So a verb that comes to mind for me is hacer. So if I wanted to form hacer in the subjunctive tense, what would it look like? All right, so the first thing I need to do is put the verb in the yo form, drop the O, and switch the ending. Hacer is an ER verb, so here's my endings. So I do in the subjunctive would be haga. What's you do in the subjunctive? Hagas. Good. What's he, she in the subjunctive? Haga. What's we in the subjunctive? Hagamos. And they in the subjunctive is hagan. Very good. Okay? Very good. Yes?
Are you going to go to that word?
All right, guys. So with that in mind, we do have a couple of irregulars that we have to really be concerned with. Now, the irregulars are going to be the same irregular. If you think about the first rule, you put it in the yo form and you drop the O. So it's going to be irregular if what? If the yo form doesn't end in an O. And how many verbs is that true for? 5. 5. They're the same 5 irregulars we saw when we made the usted commands. What are they? Hear. Good. Saber. Ser. Estar. There's one more.
Dar.
Dar. Very good. So we actually know the usted command. It's just filling in the rest of the pieces. So what is ear going to become in the subjunctive? You already know it.
Just kidding. It's gonna be va. Just kidding. It's being voya. Vaya.
Vaya is usted command. So the yo form is going to be vaya.
Wait, what would it be?
How do you say you go in the subjunctive? Vayas. How do you say he or she goes? Vaya, because remember the yo form and the he, she form will always be the same. How do you say we go in the subjunctive?
Vayamos.
Vayamos.
Vayan.
And then finally they go in the subjunctive would be vayan. Excellent. Okay. So saber, what does saber mean?
To know.
It means to
or
know facts or
find
information.
out.
So think about, what did saber become in the usted command?
Se-
There, you're close.
Just kidding. Seba.
Seba.
I was giving you like the first
So
part.
the yo form is seba. What would be the to form then?
Sepas.
Sepas. He, she form is seba. Nosotros?
Sepamos.
Sepamos. And ellos?
Sepan.
Sepan. Very good. Excellent. All right, let's go into, yes?
Wait, sorry, this is a stupid question, but I thought these were just irregular for the commands.
Well, what you're going to learn is that our commands are the same as the subjunctive.
Okay.
Yeah, Cameron. I'm going to tell you. So first we're going to form it. We're going to learn how to form it. And then I'm going to teach you how to use it and what it means.
You get a haircut?
All right, so ser is your next verb, and ser means to be. What does it become in the subjunctive, which we also know it to be in the command? Sea. Good. Sea. What's the to form? Seas. Or it looks like sees in English. Okay. He or she? Sea. We are? Seamos. And they are is?
Sean.
Sea.
Same time.
All right. So the next verb is a star. Now, what's going to be significant about a star is that there are accents that you kind of have to keep track of. So for star, what is the subjunctive? Este. Estuve is your preterite form. Okay. The to form is estés with an accent.
What?
The he, she form is esté with an accent. The we form is estemos, but there is no accent in the we form. And then estén also will have an accent. Okay? Now the very last one that's irregular is dar, to give. Do you guys remember?
Doy, so it'd be
Nope.
day.
De
Day.
with an accent. All right, to form? Des. Good. Yes, you're catching on. But there is no accent. He or she form. De. Now remember, the yo form is always going to be the same as the he, she form, so you do have to have the accent there. All right, we form.
Demo.
Demos.
No accent.
Yep. And then finally, den, no
Den.
accent.
Oh, no accent.
All right, so we also ran into an issue with verbs that, all right, with verbs that end in gar, zar, and car, right? And the reason we ran into that issue is because you're now making where there was an AR sound, there's an E, and they don't flow with those letters that come before it, all right? But we were used to only putting it in the yo form. Well, now we have to take it through all the forms. So what happens when a verb ends in gar? What does it become?
Yeah.
Okay, GUE. Zar becomes
Say.
say. And finally, car becomes
Okay.
K. So let's take a look at some examples with that. All right. So the first example I want to look at with this is the verb tokar. What does tokar mean?
Touch or play.
To touch or to play. So what to play an instrument? So if we're using the subjunctive, and I needed to conjugate tokar in the subjunctive form, the CAR is going to become QUE. So I touch or I play in the subjunctive is going to become what?
Okay.
Toke. But you touch or you play is going to become what?
Okay.
Tokes. Okay? The he, she form, he or she touches or plays, going to be the same as the yo form, toque. We touch or we play, toquemos. And they touch or they play becomes toquen. So we used to only keep it in the yo form, but in the subjunctive it spreads out. All right? I'm going to give you one more example, and that verb is jugar, because this verb, jugar, has two pieces to it. Not only is it a verb that ends in gar, but it's also a stem changer. So how do stem changers behave in the subjunctive tense? I'm glad you asked. Okay. So it's u to ue, and it's also gay. So there's a lot of things going on in this verb. So if we were to take a look at it and you wanted to say in the subjunctive, I play, how would I play sound? Juegue. It's got both. Juegue. You play would become juegues. He or she plays would become juegue. But here's the problem. Here's where it gets a little confusing. We call stem changers what? Boot verbs. Because that stem change has always occurred in the boot, in the present tense. And that is true of subjunctive as well. So once we get to the we form, it's still GUE, it's still gamos, but it's not going to be U to UE here. Okay, so we play would be who gamos. Exactly right. But then once we get down to the they form, that stem change returns and it becomes juegues.